Hi, Michelle here from Cincinnati, and I had the chance to play with the HTC Incredible from Verizon for 24 hours. I have to give this back in like the next hour. So the HTC Incredible is available for pre-order on Verizon starting today, and it is running Android 2.1, so the latest operating system, but it's wrapped in the Sense user interface, so the Sense UI. Now, back in November, I test drove the Droid Aris, and I really liked the Sense UI interface. In fact, I like these phones. These HTC phones all seem to have the same kind of plastic backing or rubber. It's more rubber, but I like the feel of it. A lot of people complain about it, but I really like the feel of it. Now, as I have this phone flipped, you're probably noticing this gigantic lens. You can even see it sticking out on the side. It is a 8 megapixel camera that is huge for a mobile phone, and definitely the largest one, the largest megapixel phone in Verizon's lineup. It's a pretty amazing phone. I guess it kind of actually lives up to its name, Incredible. I was a little skeptical first. I always wonder how they come up with names for these things, but it's tempting to trade in my Droid and get one of these. It does not have a physical keyboard. It is, however, comparable to the Droid in size. The Droid is maybe a little thicker, but as you can see, they're pretty comparable. But I think because this doesn't have the slide-out keyboard, it's a little thinner and it feels, it's not as hefty in your hand. They are calling it the Droid Incredible. But it's the HTC Incredible. Now, it's got 7 screens because of this Sense UI, and it's got this really fantastic thing called Leap. So if I hold on to the home button here, see now I'm not going to be able to get it to work. There we go. It gives me a choice of all these screens. So all 7 of my screens are here as thumbnails, and I can pick whichever one I want to go to. All of these things are available as widgets. There's a really great one called FriendStream if you want to integrate your Facebook, your Flickr, and one Twitter account. When you do that, it pops your Twitter account into the HTC Twitter app, which is called Peep, which is really sweet and cute, but it only handles one account. I use Seismic on all of my Android devices, so Seismic worked just fine on this. Google Voice, of course, runs just wonderfully on this because it is a Google-oriented phone, and of course, it was able to pull in all of my Google Calendars, Google Mail accounts, Google Apps for your domain accounts, and all my other Googled life. All available on this phone. As a phone, I've used it several times. I called my mother on her cell phone while she was driving. She has a cheap flip phone and usually gets pretty bad sound quality. She had no trouble hearing me. I had just the normal amount of trouble hearing her on her phone. I've talked to several other people on several other devices using this through Google Voice and without Google Voice, and people can always hear me. So it actually does function fairly well as a telephone, which we tend to forget is very important. It has a, let me get this right, a 1 gigahertz Qualcomm Snapdragon processor. This thing is speedy. It is so fast. I can't believe how fast it loads everything. Now, I did load some YouTube videos, and what I found interesting is it automatically loads the low res. It does not load them as fast as my Droid. I did a side-by-side comparison. The Droid loads the high res automatically and loads it faster. This automatically loads the low res and loads it slower. You can say at any point, please load the high res, and it will, but it still loads it pretty slowly. Other than loading YouTube, this thing flies. It flies on the internet. It beat my Droid in speeds of loading my winegirl.net blog, which is fairly graphically enhanced, so I always like to use it as a test. This has 8 gigs internal memory, or so I hear. In the press release they sent me, they never actually talk about the internal memory. However, any specs I've seen online reference 8 gigs internal memory. That's huge. Now, because of that, it doesn't seem to come with an SD card. So, but it will support a micro SD card of up to 32 gigs. It supports Flash Lite 4.0, which is why we can watch YouTube, right? It has 512 meg ROM and RAM. It has Android 2.1, up to 32 gig removable memory. Oh, and a 3.7-inch capacitive screen. And for everyone who's been screaming, there's no pinch to zoom, guess what, folks? We got pinch to zoom. Pinch to zoom is easy on this. Boy, this is just a bad, Foursquare is a bad screen to show you because it's all white. So pinch to zoom is on here. It's standard zooming like you have on every Android device, but also it has pinch to zoom, so everybody can stop screaming. The other thing this has is, other than blazingly fast speeds, that's just incredible to me. Just loaded that whole site, wine.com. So, pinch to zoom, capacitive screen. It does just about anything you need it to do. It has an optical trackball down here that lets you roll through things. I thought it was weird at first, but once you start using it, it makes perfect sense and seems very, very natural. Trying to think if there's anything else. Integrated GPS, of course. Google Maps with full navigation. Wi-Fi. They give you a piece of paper that comes in the box. So all that comes in the box is the phone, the USB pull-apart charger, and the tips and tricks manual, as well as a thing that says, hey, you can use this as a wireless modem if you get the data plan, or the mobile broadband plan on top of your data plan. So don't let that little flyer fool you. Let's see, pricing on this. You can pre-order it today, and it will arrive 10 days from now, April 29th. Pricing is $199.99 after a $100 mail-in rebate with a 2-year customer agreement. Don't get too excited about that rebate because it's a debit card that you can use anywhere once you get it. It is not a check. You'll need to have a data plan. Those start at $39.99 a month. I know they say that. Somehow my phone bill is just stratospheric. I don't know. So there you go. This is a great phone, the Droid Incredible. It's incredible.